Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. As we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches, the BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, that's right. How we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome courtside here to the HTC Center in Conway, South Carolina. Boise State getting set here in a little bit to take on Colorado. Abe Jackson, you'll be hearing him on the call coming up here in about 15 minutes over to the bottom of the hour. As this first game is finishing up here. Been a pretty exciting game, actually, even though the score's not very big. I thought there's been about 3 fights here, but you'll hear him coming up on the call. 670 KBOI, Boise State, getting set to take on Colorado. Abe Jackson, appreciate your time, man. They're going to finish off this tournament tonight and a chance for another big win for Boise State.
Yeah, it definitely is a good chance, and I think this Colorado Buffaloes team is pretty good, so a win against the Buffaloes, I think, would go a long way toward the end of the season, trying to get into that NCAA tournament.
What do you make of this team right now? They had the huge win against Loyola, obviously made a lot of improvements. What did you like from the game the other night?
I liked everything from it. I mean, I don't think you could have drawn up a better game for Coach Rice and the Broncos. If you asked him, what do you want from your defense? I want a really good lockdown performance. Well, you got that in the second half. You held them over 8 minutes without a field goal. I want my offense to click. Okay, you started off really hot and you scored a bunch of points, and then also you got Abo finally on track offensively. They're going to need him to have some production offensively, and he did it last night.
How big was that to get him going, finally get him with 24 points?
Well, it's huge. I mean, he's going to be someone that you lean on to score. You have Degenhardt, you have Shaver, and you have Abo. I mean, those are your 3 main guys, and if one of those guys doesn't bring it, then they're going to struggle. That's something a little bit different this year than last year. Last year, you had maybe 5 guys you could lean on for some points. But getting Abo going will go a very, very long way, and hopefully he can keep it rolling against Colorado.
What do you make of them? They went small, obviously, with the lineup, started Najee Smith. Colorado starts a 7-1 center, so I don't know if they can afford to go small in this game, but what'd you make of the lineup shifts?
I mean, if you look at the results, of course, it was a good decision, but I think the main thing in that game was just the energy at the beginning of the game was off the charts. It was nowhere near the low energy against Charlotte. Tyson Degenhardt battled inside for, I think, 3 buckets immediately at the beginning of the game, and they were tough, hard-nosed buckets inside. So and maybe it was the starting lineup change, but whatever it was, that energy was huge in the first half against Loyola.
The outside shooting was improved as well. We saw some, in addition to Abo, a couple other guys get involved from downtown. Do you think what we saw shooting-wise, was that a little more representative of what this team's going to be like?
For sure. Now, 40% I wouldn't say is a hot night, but when you're averaging 22 or 23% coming into the game, you'll take a 40% shooting, and I think that's about where this team will be. You'll have some nights in the high 40s and, of course, some nights down in the 20s, but I think around the 40% is where they're going to end up.
What would you like to see them improve on through 4 games? Is there anything that still stands out to you that needs to be better for this team?
Well, I think just the consistency. I mean, you take a look at Charlotte and then you take a look at Loyola Chicago. There's completely 2 different teams that took the floor. And so that's really the feeling out process for this team. You have guys playing in completely different roles or playing in Division I for the very first time. They're still trying to figure everything out, and that's what's going to happen earlier on in the season. But as the season goes on, you got to start getting much more consistent and not having those 4, 5, 6-minute lapses on the offensive end where you don't get a bucket.
Obviously, the matchup, Colorado, another chance, for a marquee win early in the season. They're one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the country. Boise State's one of the better defensive rebounding teams in the country, so it does seem like rebounding is going to be a big key tonight.
It is, and they worked on that in shoot-around. And one person that you have to lean on when it comes to rebounding, might sound odd, but Marcus Shaver. He had a double-double against Washington State with rebounds. He had 9 rebounds against Loyola. I think he's the leading rebounder on this team, and that does a couple things. When your guard can rebound, one, your fast break can just go. Because you don't have to look for an outlet, he can get it and go. And the second thing is that if your big guys are boxing out, it leaves that open. Sometimes it's hard to box someone out, a big guy, and then actually release and jump for that ball. But if you box out and you have a guard that can rebound, he'll just fly in and clean everything up.
I know we talked about going small earlier, but it does seem like they're going to need something tonight from the Milner-Silla combo.
I think so. And even if it's just solid minutes, I think that would be good, because playing against such a bigger team, if Degenhardt gets on the center for Colorado, he could pick up some fouls because he is 7'1" and just a huge person. So you're going to need some solid minutes and hopefully some buckets from your bigger guys.
What have you thought of Marcus Shaver so far? The overall stats are pretty good, but I talked to him the other day and he said, I've played awful. I mean, what do you make of what we've seen from Marcus Shaver through 4 games?
Well, his outside shot's not there. He hasn't knocked down threes like he can. He's the best shooter on this team, and he hasn't knocked down threes like he's capable of. And I think one thing that's frustrating him, just watching his body language, is that he's having a hard time finishing in the paint. He's getting there with some really good moves, but then when it comes to actually finishing and put it in the hole, it's been a little rough so far. And I've seen the frustration on his face when he misses some of those that he thinks he should hit.
So what else do you make of this Colorado team? Obviously, they got KJ Simpson, almost 20 points a game. They've got 10 guys that all play at least 12 minutes a game, so they're going to go a little deeper into their bench. Looks like Javon Hadley is out tonight. He leading rebounder at 8.8 per game. He almost averages 10 points as well. He's got a shoulder injury, but overall, Colorado, I mean, the staffs know each other very well. Tad Boyle, obviously, close with Leon Rice. They coached together on the USA team. He's known him for 35 years or whatever it is.
The assistant for Colorado, Billy Greer, coached with Coach Rice at Gonzaga.
So Boise State's pretty familiar with this team.
Oh, you're very familiar with the team. And in my pregame interview with Coach Rice, he alludes to how much he leans on Tad during the year. They bounce things off of each other, and I think that's one reason why we've never seen this game scheduled by them, because you just don't really want to play the guys that you're really that close to. But getting back to Colorado, they're a big, fast team, and that's exactly what you expect from a Pac-12 team in the size. There's not going to be a lot of 7'1" guys that Boise State has to play this year.
What final thing? I mean, we came into this tournament saying, as our friend Bob Beeler would say, if you can just go 2-1 in the tournament, you feel good, especially with the way it potentially could happen, where you lose the first game, you only score 11 points and a half, but then you beat Loyola Chicago. You got a chance to pick up a quad 1 win today against Colorado, and if that happens, you'd be leaving here early tomorrow morning, feeling pretty good.
Yeah, there's only one team that's undefeated, right? And that's UMass. They didn't lose a game, so everyone else has 1, 2, or 1 loss or 2 losses or 3 losses. So to go into a tournament, go 2-1, especially after that Charlotte game, because I mean, you were here, right? That energy was low after the game. They wanted to get out of here, and they refocused, and I think a win tonight would be real big. And you're right, it'd make that 3:30 a.m. wake up a little bit easier tomorrow morning.
Abe, well, we appreciate it. About 12 minutes. He'll be coming up on 670 KBOI. You can hear Abe Jackson on the call. We'll have the pregame show, the game, and the postgame show, Coach Rice and others. So appreciate it, Abe. Have a good call, and we'll be listening.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
There he is, Abe Jackson. Appreciate his time as he goes over to his spot on the radio row and gets set for the broadcast. We cannot show you the court, by the way, because they are still playing this game right now, so we cannot show you the court, but we will continue here on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. We have an interview with Coach Rice coming up, an exclusive interview with Coach Leon Rice. We also have RJ Keene going to join us in a little bit as well, so get in your comments, get in your score predictions. Boise State, Colorado coming up again here in about 40 minutes or so. We'll see if it's delayed when there's still 4:51 left in this game before us, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But again, let us know where you're watching from. We always love the shout-outs. We love the score predictions, all that good stuff. So let us know, and we'll be picking a Matt Bauscher Real Estate Player of the Game after the game. So if you have a click to pick on who that might be, we would love to hear that as well. But I'd say a nice crowd, not a huge crowd by any means, but a lot of these fans stuck around for the third day here. You've got Texas A&M up by 20 on Loyola Chicago, so it looks like Loyola Chicago is going 0-3 in this tournament. Texas A&M will leave at least with one win, and Boise State will see this Texas A&M team in about 2 weeks. The same day as the Mountain West Football Championship, Boise State will be in Fort Worth, Texas, to play against Texas A&M. So that's about a 20-point game. This one will obviously go to Texas A&M here. We'll keep you monitored on that. Michael says, weird second year in a row struggling out of the gate. Maybe just the team adjusting to each other. It's great they improve as the season progresses. Good coaching. They've played one of the hardest schedules in America. I know folks think that is an excuse and don't like to hear that. But them and Texas Southern are the only two schools in the entire country that has played five games, and they're all against top 140 teams. So I know it sounds like an excuse, but no one in the country other than Texas Southern has played as many quality opponents to start the year as Boise State has. So would you have rather Boise State didn't play, a South Dakota State and played Idaho or somebody that's literally ranked, in the 300s, and you would have won by 20? You'd have one more win on your roster, but on your schedule. But the way Leon Rice looks at it, he says he thinks it helps his team to go through some struggles, and you get exposed a little bit when you're a team playing against a better team. You find out some areas where you have to get better. If you just go and play some nobody and win by 20, then you don't really think there's anything wrong, and you don't see what's any issues you need to fix. So from that standpoint, I think that it has helped Boise State to play the tougher schedule. It's not going to get any easier. Utah Valley is another top 150 team next week. You got some other games coming up as well with Texas A&M and St. Louis. So it's a pretty tough schedule here, but this is a monster game tonight. If you can win this game, Colorado's number 46 at Ken Pom. It would put you in the top 50. It would be a top 50 win, which would be quad one. And then you'd be 3-2. Playing five teams in the top 140 to be 3-2 after 5 games. You're 1-2 after you lose to Charlotte. If you can salvage this game tonight and be 2-1 in the tournament, I think it would just be a massive momentum swing and boost for this team, getting up at 3:30 tomorrow to head to the airport to fly out if you get a win over Colorado. So this is a big game tonight for a lot of reasons. 3-2 obviously is better than 2-3, but if you can go through this early season stretch at 3-2, I think it bodes very well for the rest of the season here. And it would be a second win over a Pac-12 team, and it would be a second chance for a top 100 win, a quad one win this early in the season. So I think it's a huge game tonight. David Gardner, we appreciate you for supporting Bronco Nation News, for commenting. He says minutes for Mo tonight. He's going to have to play. Again, they have a 7-1 center that starts. Where's his name at here? Lawson Lovering. I believe he's from Wyoming, actually. Lawson Lovering is a 7-1 center that starts for Colorado. He's averaging 4 points and 4 rebounds, so he's not exactly a huge impact player, but he's a 7-1 center, plays good defense down in the paint. So I think the combination of Milner and Silla, I think it's going to be very big tonight. And I'm curious to see if they end up starting the small lineup again. Do they go with the small lineup like they had against the other game against Loyola Chicago, where they put Milner on the bench and started Najee Smith? Or with the fact that they're starting a 7-1 center, do you have to start Lucas Milner in this game? I am very curious how that's going to go. But I think Mo Silla probably gets a couple minutes, probably is going to have to be a factor in this game at some point. Need to contain their guards. They have a couple really good guards. As I mentioned, though, it looks like Javon Hadley is out. 9.8 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game. Their leading rebounder. He's a very similar player to like a Marcus Shaver, a guard that gets down there and gets some rebounds. But looks like he is probably out. We are looking to confirm that, but I heard he was doubtful, and I did not see him coming in with a uniform like the rest of the players on the team did. So that'd be a big loss for Colorado. But they've got their big guard is KJ Simpson. I mean, he's an All-American candidate. He's averaging 19.2 points per game. So KJ Simpson is the guard that you're going to have to pay attention to tonight for Colorado. And again, they're one of the better rebounding teams in the country as well. Rudy thinks Mo gets at least 10 minutes. I think with the guards, we see a bit more of Kobe Young. Yeah, I think Kobe Young and his defense for, 6'5", 6'6", he's got some size for a guard. So I do think there's a chance you see Kobe Young maybe instead of a Jace Whiting at times, if that matchup's a little better on the defensive end, because Kobe Young certainly is a guy that comes in and provides some energy and is a defensive guy. I agree with that, Rudy. That's a good call there. And, the whole Tad Boyle, Leon Rice relationship, they never wanted to play. They've done it in some private scrimmages, but Leon Rice doesn't play his buddies because one of the two friends is guaranteed a loss. and he roots for Colorado, and Colorado roots for Boise State when they're not playing each other, so they just don't want to do it. That's why he doesn't play Gonzaga, because him and Mark Few don't want either one of their teams to have to take a loss. And so they both were in this tournament. They asked to be placed on the opposite sides of the bracket. They were placed on opposite sides of the bracket, and then sure enough, it still worked out to where they ended up having to play each other here in the fifth place game, I guess it'll be. So hasn't happened before. Tad Boyle and Leon Rice did coach together on Team USA this summer. They've known each other for like 30-plus years. Billy Greer is an assistant coach on Colorado's staff, and he's also very close with Leon Rice as well. So they know members of their staff very, very well. Mark Turgeon is also a friend of theirs in that group. Mark Few. They've got that whole group of coaches that are really good friends together, and this is two of them right here with Tad Boyle and Billy Greer and Leon Rice. I guess that's three. But it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. See these two good friends coaching against each other. Colorado has had just a very crazy start to the season. I mean, you look at Colorado's wins, and again, they come in at number 46 on KenPom. By the way, we are going to hear from Leon Rice. And RJ Keene is going to join us as well, so don't go anywhere. We got a lot to get to. There's still 3 minutes left in this game. A&M is pulling away. They're up by 18 points. So as soon as this game ends, we'll show you the warm-ups when Boise State takes the court, and we'll get things rolling here. But if you have a question or a comment about this game, a score prediction, if you want to let us know where you're watching from tonight, what you think of the team so far, we'll throw your comments up on the air here moving forward. But you look at Colorado, they've alternated win-loss, win-loss, win in their first 5 games of the season. They beat UC Riverside 82-66. Then they went to Grambling State as part of a deal with the Pac-12 to go play at some of the HBCU schools, and they lost to Grambling State. So they went on the road and lost to Grambling State, who's 3-10 at KenPom. And then they come back and beat Tennessee, number 6, in a really impressive game, and then they come to the tournament and lose to UMass, who UMass ended up winning the tournament, so maybe that's not going to be a bad loss. But they've beaten Tennessee and Texas A&M, and they've lost to Grambling State and UMass. So a very interesting Colorado team, and they've alternated win-loss, win-loss, win. So if the pattern goes, which I'm sure Boise State fans would love to see, it would mean a loss for Colorado tonight. But Tad Boyle looks like he has one of his better teams. They've really got some talent. As I mentioned, KJ Simpson averaging at 19.2 points per game is one of the better guards on the country, certainly out on the West Coast. We're now down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in this game. We will hear from Leon Rice. I had an exclusive interview with him about 2 hours ago at the hotel before we came over here. But do want to thank a couple of our sponsors real quick. We are broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktails mobile studios on the road today at the Myrtle Beach Invitational here at HTC Center. Make sure you check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Lithia Ford of Boise, the title sponsor of our show here. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. You can do what I did. You can go on into the store. You can or look online at lithiafordboise.com, find your vehicle, then go on into their location there on Fairview, test drive your vehicle, and then you'll purchase it and be on your way. So we appreciate them. Look no further for your next vehicle than Lithia Ford of Boise. Idaho Central Credit Union as well, ICCU.com, the official bank of Bronco Nation News and of the Raines family. I've gone in there one time, and that was to sign up for my account. I haven't had to go back since. You can do all the online banking, the check deposits, everything right there from your phone. The mobile e-branch banking is so easy to use. So check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. We'll thank Transportation Compliance Service as well. There's a review going on the court right now over a potential for a flagrant foul. But if you're looking for a new job, Transportation Compliance Service can help you get into the trucking industry. It's a great booming industry right now, coming off the pandemic. Transcompservice.com. They can get you all the permits, all the things you need. And I'm talking everything from the big rig you see on your screen to the Amazon truck in your neighborhood. If you're looking to get into a trucking industry, Transcompservice.com can help you get out there towing that first load in no time. Aren't Boyle and Rice buddies? Yeah, you must have just missed the last 5 minutes, Nate. Appreciate you for tuning in late. We did talk about that. They are really good friends, and this will be very awkward for both of them. I talked to Tad Boyle in the hotel today, not an interview, just kind of talking to him for a little bit, and he definitely was saying this is going to be weird, and they had asked to be on the opposite sides of the bracket because they were hoping they weren't going to have to play, and obviously the way it worked out, they still do have to play, so that's obviously a tough for them. But I think that if you would have told Leon, after the first game when they lost to Charlotte, and then he saw that Colorado won, I think he really wanted to play Colorado because that meant that they won as well. So they'll get through it today. But the unfortunate thing is that one of the teams does have to take a loss. Speaking of Leon Rice, let's hear from Leon Rice, Boise State's head coach. I caught up with him about 2 hours ago for an exclusive interview at the hotel. I start off asking him about the football game, and then when this interview is over, hopefully this game will be about over, and then RJ Keene will come sit down. So have your questions ready for RJ Keene as well, as he's going to join us, and it worked pretty well. Boise State won, got some good reviews when Keene came on last game, so Leon Rice agreed to let him come on again, so we appreciate that. And we'll get to RJ Keene live here at the table once we get past the end of this game here. But let's hear from Boise State coach Leon Rice. This is the Lithia Ford at Boise pregame show. Thanks to Idaho Central Credit Union, our road trip coverage sponsor, RoPaint.com, the title sponsor of our show. And here he is, Leon Rice, head coach, Boise State. First question about that big football win last night.
Got to ask you first of all, Coach, how about that Boise State football game last night?
Oh my goodness, that was you talk about response in the moment. That quarterback saving the day by chasing down that ball carrier and making that tackle and giving the defense a chance to make a play. And how about Skinner? That's great. I'm so happy for that team and for Andy, and just what a great example of hitting rock bottom and fighting their way back up to the top. And it's kind of our signature at Boise State. So proud of them.
A little more enjoyable for you to watch that game after the win you had the night before. What was the off day like yesterday, and what were you guys able to do, and how much did that win kind of help with the spirits and things?
Oh, it was great. That makes the off day a heck of a lot better because not only not just the win, but how we played. I mean, when I went back and watched the film, I thought Loyola played great, and had we not, everyone's going to look at that and go, oh, they won by 22. It must have been easy. It was not. And had we not started really well, Loyola started well. They were scoring and we were scoring, and we just kind of kept with the plan better than we did the day before and kept grinding, and then you look up when we'd blown it open. But that game had a lot of similarities to the day before, but we just had more of a resolve and more of an understanding. Like I said, it's the thing that I got to keep in mind and that we got to keep in mind is we got a lot of guys in new roles, inexperience, and those are just lessons they have to learn. You think that it's automatic that they'd already learned those things, but that's what experience does, and it helps you figure those situations out. And, we lost 3 really good players. We replaced them with some good players, and we're heading in the right direction now, and we got a great opportunity today against Colorado.
Yeah, tell us about Colorado. Obviously, KJ Simpson, almost 20 points a game. They've got some size. What stands out to you about the Buffaloes?
Well, they're a great rebounding team, that's first of all, and so that'll be, we got to be able to handle them on the glass first and foremost, because if you don't, it's going to make for a long night. And then they, that gets their transition going because they'll get stops and then they really run. They're a really good running team. They just peppered Texas A&M, 16 threes. So, I think those are 2 of the biggest keys to the game is you got to rebound with them and you got to not allow them to get easy transition points and open threes. And if you do that, then you're going to be in for it's going to be a good heck of a game.
Obviously, a lot of connections with their staff. I know Tad Boyle, a good friend of yours. Was it 30 years, I think, something? Was it Oregon, or what was the connection there? Tell the fans about your connection with Tad.
Well, Billy and I, Billy Greer, Tad's assistant, we've known each other since 1986, working camps together, and then we were assistants together at Gonzaga, and me, Mark, and Billy, and all together. And then, I got to know Tad when I was in northern Colorado. He and Coach Turgeon have been best friends, and he was a high school coach and an investment guy and was wanting to get into college, and I went down and met him and became long, fast friends, and we actually coached together this summer with USA Basketball. And, he's just a guy, we lean on each other a lot throughout the years. We talk a lot, and there's a lot of similarities in our programs. He's just, he's one of the best coaches in the country as far as the consistency of what he does, the program, and he's just always right there and in the top of the Pac-12, and his teams are super competitive and super tough.
Well, final thing, Coach, I did my homework this morning. I looked it up. You guys and Texas Southern, the only 2 schools in the entire country that will have played at least 5 games against top 140 teams. We talked about it the other day, but it's another quality game, and you guys could leave this tournament really feeling good about yourselves with a win tonight.
Well, the focus is on the first 4 minutes of how we played last night and how we come out and how we chunk it out and do our jobs and play really hard. And then, you just let the fur fly and we'll go after them. And if we play really hard, then good things are going to happen. When you play good teams, you got to play a great game to get the victory. And I know that that's the case tonight, because this is going to be, you look back on these games that we played, good teams, and it's going to show us to get better, and it's going to be some opportunities to get some quality, resume thing.
Well, there he is, Coach Leon Rice. We appreciate him for joining us. Loyola Chicago has decided to foul, and they're playing the foul game, even though they're down 18 points here. So you would think this was a 1-point game here. We are down to the final 30 seconds. RJ Keene will join us once the team takes the floor for warm-ups. We'll show you the warm-ups as well. The clock finally ticking down here with about 25 seconds to go. But you would think that this was a tight game with how both these teams are playing this. There's another foul with 21.2 seconds left. So this game cannot end soon enough. It's an 18-point lead for Texas A&M, and yet both teams still fouling and playing hard here. So if you've got a question or a comment for RJ Keene, go ahead and get that locked and loaded now. RJ Keene going to join us here momentarily. By the way, new Bronco Nation News polo. Hope you like the new Bronco Nation News polo here. But we do have a RJ Keene coming up here in a little bit. So if you have a question or a comment for him, please feel free, and we'll get that to you as soon as we can. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But Boise State, again, getting ready to face Colorado. It's obviously a big-time game for Boise State as they obviously try to get back on, get a winning streak going and get another top 100 Ken Pom win. And we've been talking earlier in the show about Colorado. It all starts with KJ Simpson, 19.2 points per game. Sister Jean says play to the final whistle. Yep, and the clock is finally – and there it is. This ball game is over. 67-51. A&M wins it, so you'll have A&M finishing 1-2 in the tournament. They win the seventh place game. Loyola Chicago goes 0 for 3. And yes, Texas A&M is going to be tough in Fort Worth. Yes, it's going to be extremely tough game for Boise State down there against Texas A&M. I know they lost 2 games in this tournament, but man, they are a big physical team. A lot of dudes on that team. And so that's going to be a big boy game for Boise State in 2 weeks when they play Texas A&M down there. That is the day of the Mountain West Championship game. So I will actually miss that game. I will be in Boise for the football championship game, and we will have coverage of that game as well. But Boise State's getting ready to take the floor. It looks like they're putting 20 minutes on the clock, it looks like. We'll see here when they take the floor what they're going to do. We'll see what the time looks like. I'm going to set up our other camera here while we show you what's going on the court now that this game is over. Again, thanks to all of our great sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, of course, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. We appreciate them for helping us out, get us on the road here. The Blue and Orange Store, all of our great sponsors here as I try to see if we're doing this correctly with the – let's see how this looks like. We can probably pull this off. There we go. Which camera is this here? Oh, we got to switch cameras. Hold on a second here. There we go. Yep, this will be perfect. RJ Keene will come join us. Here comes Boise State. And here comes RJ Keene. He's going to come sit down here in just a minute. Boise State wearing the home white uniforms tonight. You'll see them start to come into the picture here in just a second. And you asked for him, you get him. We've got RJ Keene back again. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you, BJ?
Oh, well, let's make sure we got you here, and I didn't do anything. Try again. We got you? There we go. There we go. We got the hook, folks.
Yes, sir, boys.
He's getting hooked up here. What's up? This is mine. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I think we got you. Hopefully we're good here. For some reason, it's not coming in as strong. Get it a little closer to your no, that you're – all right. Can folks hear him okay?
Can you hear me? Checking.
There we go. There we go. Now I can hear you. What's the vibe like, man? How's everybody feeling?
Vibes are good. I mean, we came off a nice win, like I told you we were going to do, and we're going to jump on them. And this is the same game plan for this game. I mean, vibes are good yesterday. We needed a day off. You know, we had a little fun. We had a magician come in, perform a magic trick, and then did some mini golf. You know, it was a good day yesterday.
Oh, you guys did go over to the putt-putt place?
Yeah, me, Shaver, Tyson, Lucas, Max, Cade. We all went over yesterday. I didn't really putt that well, to be honest. But
what was the course like?
it was pretty difficult. I mean, it can't be regulation, you know, I'm going to be honest, because I was out there like six putting a couple times, you know, just blame the turf.
Who was the best mini golfer out there?
It was our manager, Max Teams. He shot like a 35.
Is that the highlight of his athletic career?
Most likely, you know. Doesn't do too much besides being a great manager. Of course he is.
He does a great job, man.
Exactly.
We see you guys going with the white uniforms tonight. You mentioned the magician, by the way, first. I heard he was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he pulled some tricks out on me. I had a dollar bill in my wallet that he somehow made go into lemon. And it was all the serial numbers were correct. I'm sure our media team's going to post it later.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was very weird. I mean,
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this or not, but one of his tricks, I guess, may have had to do with the final score in this game.
Yeah, one of the tricks. Yeah, should I tell him?
I don't know if we're supposed to or not. Well, let's wait and see what happens after the game. But I guess he did something that may have predicted the final score in the game, which you guys would gladly take.
For sure. He said a number that I don't think we've ever gotten to, but I'm sure we could get to it this game.
Okay, well, we'll keep that on the keep that on the down low, or if we'll see what happens after the game if that happens. What's the scouting report on Colorado, man?
Scouting report. I mean, they have a dude averaging 18 a game, and we're trying to focus on our defense around him.
KJ Simpson.
Yep, not just around him, but around the whole team. Kind of the same principles as last game. I mean, this team has the most ranked wins in the country right now. And we are early in the season, but this team is very good. When KJ Simpson is going, this is a tough team to beat. And our goal is to shut his water off and turn him into where he needs to pass and get his other guys involved. And then we shut those dudes down, and then it's our game.
Who's going to be guarding him?
Ooh, who's going to be guarding him? I don't know. Shave.
Okay. What is that? You guys like that? If you're the guy that gets put, in high school, I'm sure you got to do that when you're put on the guy that's the leading scorer, the one guy you're trying to stop. Is that a challenge that you guys as players like?
Yeah, I mean, it is a challenge. Normally in high school, I would try to guard the least best player, so I just relax on defense. But but yeah, I mean, it is a challenge. I mean, I think guys are going to be going in and out and guarding him. But our main focus is just cutting his water off and then get our other guys going. I mean, Shade knows he has a big role on this team, and he's going to try to get going as a point guard like he did last time. Remember I told you, BJ, I was like, you got to get going to the rim.
Yeah.
Who stopped him in the rim? No one. And it made room for every other player on the team to get going as a Buzo.
Yep. What you guys are, what is the emphasis for? You mentioned stopping him, but what's the emphasis for you guys tonight? Whether it's offense, defense, what are some things fans should be looking for tonight?
Ooh, I think this is a game where Shade's going to get going. I think him and Tyson go multiple threes this game.
Okay.
And I had a good feeling about it. I mean, they're so due. I mean, Tyson, I told him every shot was back rim. Yesterday, they looked good, and those dudes' shots look really good right now, and I think they're going to do the breakout.
And you were saying last time we had you on, back rim basically means you're just barely missing.
For sure, yeah. Back rim, there's nothing wrong. We don't blame the balls here like we did yesterday. We're going to come out and they're going to shoot good.
If you got a question or a comment for RJ, we got a couple minutes here before we have to get off. We got about 5 minutes or so. We appreciate you coming on. We had Jeff Abraham saying thanks for the win yesterday. You were also watching the show and trying to hurry up Coach Rice last game.
I think it was 12:30, and me and Tyson were like, dude, we are kind of tired. And plus, I had to play a couple dudes in 2K when we got back. So
that's the real reason. Not that you were tired. You wanted to go play video games.
Well, we were also very hungry, matter of fact.
And the food was back at the hotel?
Food was indeed back at the hotel.
Okay.
So we were waiting on the bus. Might as well chirp Leon a little bit. I know he likes that.
Well, not to throw anybody under the bus, but your first-year media relations guy, Nate Lowry, had told me take your time. So that's why I didn't know that I was in a hurry and you guys were waiting. So
he's a rookie.
I apologize on behalf of.
Not your fault, man. You're doing your job. It's just 12:30,
I was ready to get down and get back to the hotel as well. I still had a story to write. So, I know the feeling. But I think when it's a win, Coach Rice is a little more excited to stay and talk about it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he wants to give every emphasis of the game to you, I guarantee. And he wants to make sure everybody knows that.
Ralph wants to know if he missed the one the other day, I guess. How's the shoulder doing?
Oh, the shoulder's doing good. I mean, we're 8 weeks tomorrow, and we're getting better and better every day. I mean, the shoulder, it sucks. You're learning how to move it again. You're learning how to reuse everything. But, I mean, it's a process, and I've bought into the process, and just making sure I'm ready by May 1st and get ready to win the summer.
So May 1st is your kind of target date to be 100% again, so you can have a normal offseason?
I'll probably be 100% by February 1st.
Okay.
Maybe like 95, but goal is to be 100% by when I come back in the summer and make sure I have a good summer and show them I can still hoop.
And we've seen, as I said last time, we've seen you even jumping into a few of the drills for shooting, a couple shots here and there. And you said maybe you're hopeful they'll let you do some scout team stuff or at least do something at some point this season, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been shooting around in warm-ups, and then I'll look over, and then my trainers are just staring me down like, what are you doing? But then I'm like, dude, doctor said I could shoot. So I've been getting the shooting drills, and then been working slowly, getting back. The jumper's still looking pure as ever. So.
Oh, always.
Oh, for sure.
Jeff says the mini golf, obviously not part of the rehab, hence the 6-putt.
Oh, yeah. I'm not used to, not having one shoulder while putting. It's the first time ever. I mean, I know Tad and Kelly are going to be mad at me at Timberstone that I'm 6-putting at the mini golf course. But, I mean, hey.
You won't be able to go out there and get any, I guess you wouldn't have anyway during the season, but they've got the big simulators and the TrackMan thing. They're trying to help some folks in the winter on their game.
Yeah, I saw that there's a winter deal going right now.
Yeah. Hey, Burke Smith looks locked in right now. Is this guy, what's he like pregame?
So, I mean, I'm his roommate. And pregame, he likes to take a nap. He likes to talk my ear off. And we like to talk about sports. He's a good guy. I mean, one of my good friends in Boise.
He is a big sports fan, right? A Philly sports fan?
Yeah, diehard Philly sports fan. I mean, I'm an Astros fan, as you know.
Yeah.
And we had a little World Series clash. And we watched all the games together. And no bad blood between me and him. We're both respectful young gentlemen that love sports.
What now they have a 7-1 center also that starts on Colorado.
Yeah, I see him walk around the lobby a lot.
Yes, and they've got a couple big guys. Lucas and Mo and maybe Burke? I mean, is the 5 position going to be a key spot tonight, or
5 position is going to be really key tonight? So 5 position will be key. I mean, as you saw yesterday, Lucas's minutes didn't change at all. Just because he comes off the bench, Leon's trying to get him fired up, and it kind of worked. I mean, he was fired up in practice today. I mean, he's dunking on everyone in shoot around. We're like, Lucas, it's shoot around. You don't need to be dunking on everyone. Save it for the game. But yeah, those 2 dudes are going to be, and Burke are going to be effective for this game. I mean, hopefully Burke gets an opportunity, but I think Lucas is going to have to come in and be ready to guard.
What would this mean for you guys to get a win here? And it's a 3:30 wake-up call, I think, tomorrow or something crazy. Long trip back to get a huge win over a top 50 team like this and go back with a 2-1 record here in the tournament. How big is this game?
Oh, this game's huge for us. I mean, a neutral site is what we want. We wanted to play Colorado. We wanted to play Loyola. But we didn't know we were going to play on the loser side. But this is huge. This could help our net. This could help the Kim Palm. This could be a big win that they write down on Bubble Watch if we're even if we don't win the Mountain West, like I think we will. But this could be a big win to have there.
Harry says, are they still using the Spalding balls today?
Yes, they are, sadly. But, I mean, we got them around and shoot around today. We practiced at Myrtle Beach High School, and we got them shooting, and they're shooting well with them. And I think we're still going to shoot well. I'm going to say we shoot 60% from 3 today.
60% from 3. Wow, you're call, man. You're laying it out there.
I mean, if Tyson and Shave make shots, it's going to be 60. And you saw Buzo went 5 for 7. And I was talking to Buzo yesterday. He was talking to me in a timeout. He was like, man, I think I found what I need to do and what I am doing. He said he's going to be the communicating leader.
He just swished one as he jogged off the court there.
For sure, he's locked in.
He doesn't get much spin on his ball.
I mean, he shoots a high arc.
Okay.
And he shoots kind of like Larry Bird, if you notice that, like where he shoots from the back. And it's a moon ball.
Well, we appreciate you coming by, man. Obviously a big one. We saw the video they put out with you and Cade Rice getting into it. What was the little like 3/ what did you guys have going on there on the end of the bench?
To be honest, that was just on the fly. Like, we make up our celebrations on the fly on the bench because we're unique and creative. We don't really need to be like planning it, but yeah, we just threw the arrow out, and I'm not going to say who we pointed it at, but we did point at someone.
Did you watch the football game last night, by the way?
We did watch it. What a crazy sequence at the end of the game.
That was pretty exciting for you guys?
Yeah, very exciting. I mean, people think that the basketball team and football team don't like each other, and they have that little aspect. It's a football school, basketball school. How come we don't just be a sports school?
Who said that? I haven't heard too much
Twitter,
of that. Okay.
Like, I mean, we read around, like, every basketball win, all of a sudden it's like, oh, basketball school. Every football win, football school. How come we just don't be a sports school? Like, we get along with everyone on the football team, and we're good friends with all those guys, and we go to every one of those games, and we root for them well.
Teams is walking like a guy that just won a putt-putt contest out there. He's clapping and nobody's on the court. You gotta love him.
Yeah, he's getting a little too cocky after that. I might need to take him there tonight and humble him up.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully it's a win tonight and hopefully a good feeling. We appreciate it as always, man.
Yeah, for sure.
We got some great comments coming in, but we got to get you off because we're running out of time here. But thanks a lot, man, and bring the energy on the bench, man.
For sure.
They need it, man.
You'll see me doing some celebrations today, but mainly I got to call out their coverages. That's my job.
Okay.
I got to yell at their coverages, and then if Tyson's getting doubled in the post, if they said they don't hear me scream, I'm going to get chewed out. So.
Well, you got to bring it, man. You got to get a sweat going. Have shower after everybody else after the game. You got to do your own game over there on the sidelines. But 60% from three, he called it. So
and then the magician said 91 points.
Oh, he put it. Okay, all right, there he is. Appreciate it, man. RJ Keene. Yeah, they did have a magician last night, and according to RJ Keene, at the end of one of his tricks, he said Boise State was going to get to 91 points tonight. So. If Boise State somehow gets to 91 points tonight, that will be quite the final trick from the magician. So there's only 8 minutes left on the clock. You see a couple of the other team Colorado players warming up, but we will end the show here. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. We thank all of our great sponsors. Any of the ones that I forgot to mention already, I apologize. Matt Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. Check them out, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets. RJ Keene's going to shoot a three here. Hold on, let's switch it over. Oh, here comes RJ again. He's wanting me to there it is. He might be the first guest ever that comes from on the show to knocking down threes out on the court. Back-to-back threes for RJ Keene. He's ready to go. Look at this. 3 in a row for RJ Keene. Let's see what he can do. 4 in a row. The shot is looking good here. Yeah, there's no effects of the shoulder injury there. Put him back in the game. He doesn't need to sit out for 3 more months. Look at that. Well, again, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Locations all across the Treasure Valley. Check them out. Boise Dentistry Co. United Commercial Insurance as well. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. They make business insurance easy. You can check them out at UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. I mentioned Ridley's Family Markets. 13 locations across the state of Idaho. Find one near you at shopridleys.com. That stroke is butter. And Jeff Abraham did, he put it out there as he walked away, 91 points. So keep that in mind today. We'll see if they can get there. It's what the magician said. We need RJ for every pregame. I'll tell you this, if Boise State wins again, it might get easier because Coach Rice is a superstitious guy. And the main reason he let RJ come back on the show today is because they won. Hey, Kendra, we love Burke. Go Phillies. Appreciate you for watching as usual. Yeah, the reason they let and thanks again to Coach Rice. We really appreciate Coach Rice for letting a player on the active roster, even though he can't play, in the middle of the warm-ups, come over and come on live with us. There's not many coaches that would do that. So really appreciate Coach Rice for doing that. And obviously he's been a nice addition. So, but the reason he did it today is because he wanted to do it. First of all, he asked if he could. And then second of all, they won the game. So Coach Rice is like, well, if we won, I guess we got to keep it going. So we will see what happens moving forward. But obviously a big one today for Boise State as they try to improve to 3-2 on the season. It would obviously be a big-time win for them. They're going with the white uniforms. Coaches are in the blue polos. So we will see what happens. 6 minutes on the clock. Head over to ESPN News. ESPN News, the game starts at the top of the hour in about 6 minutes. And then we'll be back with the full post-game show. We'll have Coach Leon Rice, players live. We'll have some other analysis and things. So make sure after the game you come back and watch the post-game show. The easiest way is YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, I can't take your comments. We're getting away from the Twitter broadcast, so make sure you please flip over and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. So enjoy the game. Big one, Boise State and Colorado coming up in about 5 minutes. Broncos trying to get another top 100 win, try to leave this tournament on a good note at 2-1. We'll be back post-game to tell you all about it. Go check out BroncoNationNews.com. Full coverage of that football win as well. We appreciate your support. We're the only local media outlet that made the trip here to Myrtle Beach, so we appreciate your support. This was an expensive trip to come all the way out here, so If you're on the fence considering a subscription, hopefully you're liking the coverage and you'll consider it $70 for the whole year or $6.99 a month. So appreciate you. Have a great time enjoying the game. Hopefully you enjoy it with a couple of Cutwater canned cocktails, and we'll talk to you afterwards. Boise State, Colorado coming up in a couple minutes here. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you after the game. Bronco Nation News, Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, ICCU, RealPaint.com, BroncoNationNews.com.